In this episode of the podcast, it's all about photography planning with PhotoPills. This is TWiP. Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of This Week in Photo. I am your host, Frederick Van Johnson. You know, on TWiP, I talk to a lot of photographers, of course, and it seems like the more successful photographers that I speak to, successful in terms of getting the images that they want, not monetarily, but in terms of getting the images that they want, it all stems from planning. And before you even set foot on the ground, knowing the kind of shot that you want to take, where you should be pointing your camera, what time of day you should be at that spot. Of course, we're speaking about landscape photography, but it extends to the other genres as well, whether you're putting a model on a background in the desert and you need the environment to look like a certain scene that you're trying to replicate, or you're doing astrophotography and you need the Milky Way to be in a certain orientation to complement the foreground, or vice versa. All these things require planning, and I think a lot of photographers, or even people that are consumers of photography, the people that just want to see your work, they look at a piece of work and they assume that it was just serendipity. You had the right gear, you're in the right place at the right time, and you click the shutter button and magic happened. And the reality is there's a lot more to it than that. To talk about that today, I'm joined by Raphael Pons. He's a co-founder of a company/app called PhotoPills. We're going to dive into PhotoPills, what it's for, who it's for, how they got started, all that interesting stuff. Raphael, welcome to This Week in Photo, man. How are you doing?
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Rick.
No, thank you. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, I've been a fan from afar of PhotoPills for a variety of reasons. One of them is the entrepreneur side of it, right? It's the side of, okay, here's a team or a guy or a co-founder who had an idea to solve a problem, went after it and built a world-class app that millions, I would argue, of photographers, at least thousands, hundreds of thousands of photographers, are using in order to create this great work that we're seeing. And some of it defies reality. You're like, how did you manage to get the Milky Way through that cove of rocks? You know, you must have photoshopped it in there. Nobody's that lucky, right? So before we get started into the nuts and bolts of the application, tell us about the origin story of Raphael Pons and PhotoPills. How did it all start? Why did it start?
Okay, this might surprise you, but I'm not really a photographer, at least not at the base. Everything began around, I think it was 2009, 2010, with Germán Marquez, which is the developer, computer science guy. Mm-hmm. A friend of mine, we were living in Menorca, beautiful island in the Mediterranean Sea, having a nice life, but a lot of time to think about some business idea, some product that could be built from that little island for the world. And Germán bought a camera, bought an Nikon D90 at that time, and came to me and told me, Rafa, this photography thing is so difficult and so many questions I need to answer. You need to answer so many questions to get the shots you want. What time the sun is rising, where is rising, where the Milky Way is going to be, and when, for a specific date, or when is the golden hour, or what's the type of field. So many questions. So, and I told him, okay, I like it. I like the niche. Mm-hmm. In a more entrepreneurial way of talking. You want a niche where people is passionate. And photography is a very creative niche. People is passionate, is crazy about photography, and they do anything they can to take great photos. So we started brainstorming. We started taking photos and thinking about, okay, how can we help people go from an idea to a photo? And we went through all the steps. Take a photo. Okay, you need a location, you need a date and time for the shooting and composition. Then you need settings to take that photo, right? And we started putting together these little pills. That's the name, the reason of the name of PhotoPills, that were pills for photographers that help you get the photos you want. And we start with one mission: to help people shoot legendary photos, imagine a photo, plan it, so they can go and capture it.
Yeah, and that's where it is. And then I'm guessing over time, more and more pills showed up. And there's different features in the app. Like you guys have incorporated augmented reality, so I can visually see, looking through my phone, I can see where the Milky Way is going to be. I can see where the moon is going to be, or the sun. So this is for the folks that are not sort of fluent in astrophysics or how things work that way. You are extrapolating based on, where things are going to be based on math, right? So the whole application, the universe, in fact, but specifically this application is based on predictive math. When at this time, on this day, on this month, the moon is going to be over there, and let me show that to you. Am I oversimplifying it?
No. It's exactly like that. The PhotoPills, actually, Herman coded the equations and the formulas of the movement of the sun, the moon, the Milky Way in the software, and uses those equations to make them work. And for a given location on Earth and a given date and time, we know where the celestial bodies will be, so we can give you the information either on a map view or in the augmented reality view. So you can also plan in the field. And it's all about computing and maths, and we don't use a third-party website to know where the sun is going to be. It's everything is coded in the app, in the software.
And precisely, right? That's the thing that gets me excited about it, because it's very, very precise. Of course, you can't predict weather, right? Or can you? I don't know. but you say, yeah, we know the Milky Way is going to be right there, the sun is going to be there. You can't predict that. Oh, but a storm is going to impact your image. Or can you? Are you incorporating weather data, current weather data into the predictions?
It's in the to-do list, actually, to incorporate weather data, because it's super important for any photographer shooting outdoors to understand, wind direction or cloud layers or even humidity can affect the quality of the images. So we have a big, long to-do list of cool features to implement, but that's going to come in the future.
Yeah, there's a bunch of features that I could see. I don't fashion myself as a landscape photographer, but there's a bunch of features I could imagine landscape and astrophotographers might want. For example, unnatural celestial objects like satellites flying by, especially now with SpaceX launching, or not SpaceX. I forget what the other company that launches all the satellites out there. Starlink. Sorry.
Starlink.
So Starlink is putting thousands in other companies, not just Starlink, but thousands and thousands of satellites out there, which arguably could or will impact astrophotography.
Oh yeah.
Are those predictable? Like, do we know the flight paths of those? And can you tell me when? Okay, don't take a shot now because there will be a string of satellites in your shot. Is that data available?
Yes. All the data is available, and it's our job to take it and make it work with the plannings and the app. And that's for sure. You don't want to have all these satellites in the sky when you're photographing the Milky Way. So you better choose another week or another day. Our idea is to help you guys plan anything ahead of time. For example, next year, 2023, there is a huge annular solar eclipse in the States, crossing the US. Going through Central America and South America. It's going to be an amazing event, and you can plan it with the app. A unique opportunity to photograph an annular eclipse, so you can photograph the ring of fire around the moon, which is awesome. Wow. So at the moment we have implemented sun, moon, the Milky Way, meteor showers, lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, and the light layers, golden hour, blue hour, of course, and many more celestial bodies and events will come. We'd love to add also Aurora Borealis and Australis, satellites, of course, and also constellations. I mean, the list is endless.
That is beautiful. That's so much fun. So to what level of detail can we get with the app, either now or in the future? For example, if I know, I want to go to a certain location and do astrophotography, will the app tell me information about light pollution that's there, so that I know that, oh, you don't shoot from this location because there's going to be too much ambient light and it's going to ruin your shot? Also, what about if I want to do a shot of the Milky Way, I'm just using Milky Way as an example. It could be anything, solar eclipse or whatever. Do you have plans to, or does the app currently give me advice on the gear to use to shoot that? Like, use this kind of lens if you want this type of shot. How deep does the training go, or do I need to actually speak to a real photographer in order to get that level of detail?
That's a very good question. First of all, regarding the light pollution map, we're actually testing one now because light pollution is something we want to implement not very far away down the road. So we're already testing a possible light pollution map for PhotoPills. And then the training for us is the most important part of the app. Remember, we want to help you guys get the photos, and planning is just a step. But there are a lot of other things you need to consider, like all the gear you need, all the camera settings you need, where do you focus, right? And for that, we've built this large collection of guides. They are like books for free online for you guys. One book for the Milky Way, one book for sunrise, sunsets, one book for the moon. Each event has its own guide or book for free online on our website in the Academy section. And I think this is one of the ways people find us, because if you look for Milky Way photography, you'll find our guide. Then you'll learn how to photograph the Milky Way. You get inspired, and then on the go, you'll learn that the Milky Way can be planned, because planning is pretty unknown for many photographers. I haven't encountered that many photographers that were planning before, or heavily planning before. Planning is a skill that is, I think many people don't know that even it exists. Editing is very popular. Photoshop has been saying that editing for 30 years, but planning, even pro photographers, when they discover that they can really use PhotoPills to plan these photos ahead of time, from home. You go to Namibia, for example, you can plan a shot there in a location you love, then you travel to capture it. It gives you so much power, but as I said, planning is kind of a new skill another skill that photographers need to learn on top of the multiple number of skills you guys need to learn.
Yeah, it's fundamental though. It's so interesting you say that. It's the planning piece is, like you said, I feel like it's an obvious superpower that photographers can have available to increase their chances of success. There's no guarantee of success, but planning, if you have in your mind's eye of the kind of shot you want to do, and you've done your homework to know that if I'm here and I'm pointing in this direction at this time and using this lens, and I've got my exposure idea set up. And so you're, instead of guessing and relying on your skills as a photographer of composition and exposure and all the things to get the shot while you're there, that relies a lot on luck. Like, you're taking a lot of luck out of the equation. Sure, you need to be lucky enough, like we said before, that a fog layer won't roll in and ruin everything. But at least at this time of day, at this time of year, I'm able to do that. That's I think that's a superpower. One of the things that when I talk to photographers about planning, the ones that are using PhotoPills and planning like they should be, there's also another app called Photographer's Ephemeris that will come up from time to time. That some people use that for planning, other people use PhotoPills. I never know the difference in terms of. I know there's a difference, of course, but like from my layman's perspective, I see these two apps both for planning. Can you kind of put a finer point on it? Like what is specifically the benefit of PhotoPills over, or in addition to or adjacent to Photographer's Ephemeris?
Well, Photographer's Ephemeris is a great app. It has a different approach. The difference are small and big at the same time. Like PhotoPills includes a lot of tools that the Photographer's Ephemeris do not include. But I would say that the biggest difference is the community we're building around the photography planning concept. We're not only helping people make all the calculations with the tools, we help people to actually get the shots they want through inspiration, through the tools, through the education. We give you all you need, everything you need to get the shot you want. The planning and the tools is just it's like our lightsaber for the Jedis, for example, right? It's our tool, our crystal ball. But the end goal is not to get people, learn how to plan. Our goal is I want you to get inspired, have ideas, and then, of course, you're going to go and plan it, and then you're going to need to nail your shot. And to nail your shot, you need to know your techniques, the gear you need, the settings, etc, etc. So we're trying to build this movement of people that imagine photos around the world and try to find them and capture them and share with the world. And I say that the PhotoPills Mix is the all-in-one app that helps you go from an idea to a legendary photo. And here we are with our own music. I don't think that the market is that competitive. We have 2 or 3 apps for planning. Ask photographers that want to make a living, or musicians. How many bands are there? I think we each other help us make planning popular among the photographers, and we are on the same boat for sure.
Yeah. It just once you talk about it, it makes so much sense, because it's like, you see this photo that you're say you're searching online, you go into a particular area and you're like, okay, I want to do some photos there. Let me see what other people have done. So you go there and you kind of get inspired. Oh, look at that bridge and the moon right there. I want to do that shot, right? Instead of just showing up at that location, now the moon's way over here. You're not gonna get the shot that you want. You can now prepare yourself and know that, okay, well, I'm going at this time of the year, so there's no way I can get that shot. So, I need to plan accordingly. Yeah,
and
that's good.
One thing that's very difficult, and I think that's the biggest issue and the most difficult thing, is to have the idea. You need to be a photographer first, right? Then you need to learn, how to use your camera and planning and editing and whatever you want. But if you don't have an idea first, okay, pick a location, decide what you want to capture. That's the first step that motivates you to take a great photo, or to at least learn the skills you need to take that great photo. And what we're trying from PhotoPills is to not leave you alone in the process. So we want to be with you from the idea to the editing, if possible. So we make sure that you're getting better and better in your photography.
Yeah. And I got an email a couple of weeks ago, I think it was about a week or so ago, from your team, that was talking about the excursion series of kind of workshops that you guys are putting on. What is that? What does that entail? Is that kind of a deep dive into using the software, or is it describe that experience to me?
The PhotoPills expeditions, PhotoPills is all about finding these photos that occur every day, but nobody sees, right?
Yeah.
So what we do is we pick a location that we love, for example, Namibia, or Iceland, or Dolomites, and we plan photos. And then we try to capture them, and then we invite the community to come with us, to join us in a PhotoPills expedition. So we design a really complete itinerary. We have just launched the expedition to Iceland yesterday, and it's already sold out. It's an amazing adventure to capture the photos we plan, and we get really immersed in the areas we are photographing. So it's super fun. For me, it materializes our vision of, traveling the world from legendary photo to legendary photo, traveling the world, capturing the photos we have in mind. So, and we plan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like baiting your hook, right? Like you're a fisherman and you want to catch a particular kind of fish. You have to put a particular kind of bait, i.e. planning, on your hook in order to catch that fish. Otherwise, you have no idea what you're going to pull out.
Yeah. Imagine, you usually plan your holidays around randomly throughout the year. Why don't you pick a location, plan a photo, and then you plan your holidays around that photo so you can go and capture it?
Yes.
That's a mind shift. When you start thinking ahead of time what you want to get, then maybe you'll be in Egypt and photographing the moon over the pyramids of Giza, instead of going a random date and there is no photo, or no. So I'm trying to motivate people to think ahead of time, because the experience is going to be much better. And when you're out there, capturing a photo that you've planned ahead of time, it's goosebumps. It's like, wow, man, the moon is appearing right where you want it. It's great. It's incredible. I think that's the best part of photography and the PhotoPills adventure is not the photo, is living the moment to capture it and designing it, planning the process, the journey is what really motivates me.
It's like Pokemon Go, right? But you're capturing photos.
Definitely.
Think of the gamification as the satisfaction and the endorphin rush is when you get that photo and everything falls into place. It's like, capturing Pikachu. So when forward facing, I know obviously you don't have an answer for this, but I'm just curious if this is even on your want list or your radar. And that's the as cameras, we talk about this on the podcast a fair amount as well, just the whole idea that cameras themselves are so advanced these days, but also so behind in terms of these supercomputers that have all this computational power in them and, world-class optics, but they're not normally connected to the internet and they can't run apps, right? Do you see a day like putting on your PhotoPills co-founder visionary hat? Do you see a day when PhotoPills will be incorporated into either an Apple ecosystem for a camera body or the technology just sort of built into my Nikon or Canon or Sony camera so that I can plan my photos from the back of the camera versus using another device? What do you think about that? Or is it necessary?
Oh, yeah. I think it definitely will happen. Actually, I think that cameras will evolve into more powerful computers as time goes by. Also, I see PhotoPills in the RV or augmented reality glasses that are coming. Apple is announcing a launch of AR glasses for next year. That's going to be also the future, right? Imagine visualizing the sun and the moon and Milky Way through your glasses or augmented reality without your phones. So I think everything will change a lot in 10 years. And I do see cameras doing a big move into turning into more powerful devices like big computers. Because the mix between a camera and a phone, it makes totally sense to me.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool, right? To have either Apple AR glasses or whomever just have AR glasses on and PhotoPills, an app, an AR PhotoPills app running on the glasses, and I could say, hey, I'm out on vacation in Hawaii, and I could just run the app and say, man, I wonder what it's going to look like on this time, right? Or conversely, put on the full VR glasses experience and go experience a location that you're planning to be at in 3 months and look around and see what it's going to look like so that you can plan. It's almost like time travel, right? So you can time travel to the location. It's
an augmented and improved experience. Because phones are great, but the experience is not that great. With VR or AR, the glasses probably is going to be much better.
Hopefully,
it's the same thing, but a different experience, more enhanced, more immersed in the locations, right?
Yeah. For the folks that are listening to the audio version of this podcast, let me offer my apologies in advance because Raphael has agreed to do a demo of PhotoPills. We're going to run through the app right now. So you can listen to the audio of that, obviously. We're going to let it play through. But if you want to watch the demo, come to thisweekinphoto.com. Look at, this will be the latest episode up there. Check it out. Or just head over to photopills.com where there's a literal mountain of tutorials on how to use the app for different situations and free guides and all that stuff. But for you guys that are listening, sitting in traffic, just imagine what your screen looks like as we walk through. Rafa, you want to dive into the demo now?
Yes. I'll just want to go through very quickly through the menu. So as I said, PhotoPills is an app that helps you, imagine a photo, imagine a different composition with the sun, the moon, the Milky Way, so you can plan it. And planning means, find the right shooting spot, the right shooting date and time, that photo that what you want to capture actually occurs, so you can go and capture it. And to help you go from idea to real photo, we have created this beautiful app that includes a lot of pills. We have learning pills. We have inspiration pills that make you fly. So you go to the My Stuff menu and you go to the words. Inspiration. The idea is always first. So think about the locations you know. The hardest part is to know the locations. When you know a lot of cool locations with powerful subjects, then you can start brainstorming. Okay, when the sun is going to be setting there, or rising there, or when the moon is going to be there, or when the Milky Way is going to be over there, or when is golden hour in this location, right? Or a meteor shower, or the eclipse, whatever. And if you want to get inspired, you can also go to the word spill, and here you see, for example, we have a Spider-Man here with the moon in Abu Dhabi. These are photos that we share every day with the community. Moments that PhotoPills around the world have imagined, captured. They share a bit of the story and the EXIF data. You want to learn how these photos were taken. But yeah, the idea goes first always. So this is the reason we created this PhotoPills award spill to showcase the photos the community is capturing around the world, but also to inspire you to have ideas. And then second step is to learn. You need to master PhotoPills. So I invite you to go to our YouTube channel, PhotoPills. You have videos, everything you need to learn how to use the app. But most important, you go to our academy in the how-to articles. Super important. If you're new to Milky Way photography, or you want to photograph an astronomical event, or you want to learn how to plan your photos, or you want to learn, golden hour, how to photograph the moon, don't go to PhotoPills and start and try to master the app. Just go to the guide, for example, the moon guide, and here the guide will guide you through the whole process. It will inspire you, it will help you learn how to plan the photos, also the gear you need, and how to take the shots step by step. For us, education is super important, and maybe this is one of the biggest difference between the other apps. We really want to help you nail your shots and have a lot of fun in the process. So the academy section is super important for us. And then when you have an idea, location, you go to the pills menu and you start planning. You start answering the questions you have. Depending on the question you have, you take one pill or another pill. The planner is the most powerful one, the one we use to plan our photos from home for any location on Earth. But you are in the field, for example, photographing the sunset, and you want to know where the Milky Way is going to be late at night, you can go to the night AR pill here in the menu, and now you'll see my studio, which is a mess, because for the echo thing, I had to open the doors for the wardrobes. But yeah, in the momentary view, on location, it gives you a date and time here, the horizon, this is the Milky Way and the core. You also have the moon, because for planning the Milky Way, you need to know where the moon is at all times. So it's as simple as tapping the AR pill, changing the time by swiping the screen, figure out when the Milky Way is going to be right where you want it to be, and then you move around to place the Milky Way in the spot you want in the composition with your subject, for example. Oh, and here you have the polarities, and you can use the AR also to plan your star tail shots.
Yeah.
So again, depending on the question you can use the planner, but you can use the sun pill, the moon pill, or the exposure calculator. For example, you want to use an ND filter in the field. This calculator helps you with calculations. Or, for example, the spot stars calculator that helps you figure out the maximum exposure time you can use for a Milky Way shot to prevent the stars from trailing. You know that after a certain number of seconds, the stars will appear as trails in the photo because of the rotation of Earth. So this calculator allows you to calculate that as maximum exposure time you can use to prevent the stars from trailing. And then if you want to plan a photo from home, well, you have the map view. You place the red pin in the location you want. For example, here in Favarich, in Menorca. I come from Menorca, this little island. This little island is where PhotoPills was born. Currently, I'm living in Madrid, though. I moved there for love. And okay, to plan a photo super quickly, you place the red pin next to your subject. For example, Favarich, which is one of the most beautiful locations that we have in Menorca. Then you decide, for example, you want to plan the Milky Way. You go to the layers button and you switch on the Milky Way layer. So you have the Milky Way on the map. You can change the time by moving the colorful bar you have below the map. This is the time bar. And for example, let's set the time, the day to April 2023, for example. And let's see where the Milky Way is going to be. Well, this is Thursday. Let's go to Saturday. Or, for example, the Milky Way here, if I go shoot from there, on this is Saturday, it's April 23rd at 2:50 a.m. I know that the Milky Way will be arching above the lighthouse. Here you have the core of the Milky Way, and this is the where the directions the Milky Way meets the horizon. So this arch represents the Milky Way. And if I tap on the 90R button here at the bottom, for example, you'll see what I mean. You see that the Milky Way core is over there, is the first crossing point with the horizon, and then the Milky Way is arching above the horizon. And this is the second crossing point. So the lighthouse should be right over there. So you can use the augmented reality view on the planet too, even if you're not on the spot, to visualize the position of the Milky Way in the sky. So it's as simple as that. Locations, you place the red pin next to your subject, and then you switch on the layer you need, the sun layer, the moon layer, the Milky Way layer, and you use the time bar to understand where the sun, the moon, the Milky Way is going to be, so you can change, for example, the shooting spot. If I go here, now I'll be able to photograph a diagonal of the Milky Way above the lighthouse. I'm not shooting a panorama, but shooting a diagonal. And you can keep planning. You can go and switch on the field of view tool here, and you can set your camera, set your focal length, for example, for the 40 mil, and you can plan your composition with the field of view you'll get, for example, the lighthouse and the Milky Way.
And so that the unshaded area, that I guess triangle, that's the field of view. That's the 14 millimeter field of view.
Yes, that's on a full frame Nikon Z6. Shooting in portrait. You can shoot in landscape, and you get a larger field of view.
Wow!
All right. So yeah, just a quick example. It's not my point to teach you now in 5 minutes how to plan the Milky Way. You have videos on our YouTube channel to learn anything you need on planning the moon, the Milky Way, the sunrise, sunsets. It needs a little bit of practice. The hardest part is to decide the location and have the idea. Then what I usually do, I just place a red pin next to a cool subject, and then I start brainstorming. Depending on the date I want to be there, understand where the light is going to come from, so I can better choose my shooting spot, for example.
Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer, almost a mandatory tool for photographers that are planning workshops where a bunch of people are going to come, right? So if you say, yeah, we're going to do a workshop in Manilka or Madrid or Spain, and we're going to do this, or not Spain, or let's say Paris, and we want the Eiffel Tower in there, and we want it to look like this. What's the best time to shoot the Eiffel Tower? So then you could pick your workshop dates and what nights you're going to shoot what. Seems like that's a no-brainer for anyone organizing a workshop, right?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, we are encouraging people organizing workshops to organize workshops around great photo opportunities. Actually, all our photo expeditions are planned around at least one awesome shot. For example, the one we just put together in Iceland, we planned a really cool moonshot, and then we designed a whole event around the island to be at that specific day, that time, on the right spot to capture that moonshot. So it's super fun. But nowadays, I don't see a photographer. I cannot imagine a photographer going out shoot even a city without understanding direction of light or what time the golden hour is. You need to decide where to go.
Otherwise you're gambling. Yeah, you're gambling. It's fun, right? There's some fun to it. Like I'm just gonna I'm gonna drop I'm a commando and I'm dropping myself behind enemy lines and I'm gonna see what I can come up with in these unknown situations with unknown variables like weather and golden hour and all that stuff, and where the celestial bodies will be. But what if you arm yourself with the tactical data of what you need in order to accomplish the mission more successfully? Yeah, that's brilliant. So here I have a couple questions, and thanks for doing that demo. That's fantastic. So that
Awesome.
demo,
Thank you.
if people want to play around with it, how does your pricing work? Is it a subscription? Is there a free trial? How does that bit work?
It's a one-time payment app. I think it's $10, $12 for the app. You pay once, you download it, and you have it.
Yeah.
And then you need to learn how to use it.
Yeah, which is the bigger pill, right, to swallow is, and it's just like anything else, right?
Yes.
Understanding something. Once you understand it and spend the time to understand what the developers were thinking and the capabilities of the app and how you can use it, it becomes another tool. I would argue probably at least as important, especially for landscape outdoor shooters, as lenses, right? Because you can get more use out of the gear that you have and with the planning piece of it, and it's a one-time fee. All right, here's a loaded question, and I'm obviously not asking you to write your business plan in this interview, but subscription, are you ever, or was the idea cross your desk about switching to subscription from one-time payment?
Oh yeah, of course. If we need to, I mean, if you want to turn a hobby into a business, subscription is the way to go. We've been one-time payment since 2013, and we have over 700,000 downloads. I mean, we don't have millions. It's hard for us to reach people. We don't invest in advertisement. Everything is word of mouth. I should do more podcasting.
Yeah, I was going to suggest
to promote
that.
the app. Yes, yeah. But we're such a small team. We grow we hire people now to develop the next big thing of PhotoPills, and I think it's going to be awesome, a big surprise. But development is always low, and hopefully, the end of 2023, 2024, we have something that can really surprise our community for good. But yeah, that will be a subscription. So our idea is to create kind of a premium version that's super, super good. So people who wants to do more can subscribe to for an upgrade.
Yeah.
And people that don't want to subscribe, but then they kind of stick with the app.
With the one-time payment. Yeah, very good. And then the other question is, what platforms is the software available on? iOS, Android, iPad
iOS and
OS?
Android. Yes,
iOS.
yes, and iPad, tablets, and yes, phones and tablets for sure. And one big request is being always, the desktop version, and that's going to be in the premium. The premium is going to be a desktop. Yeah, can't wait to have it. I can't wait to have it to plan my things with the desktop. It's going to be much more convenient.
Yeah, I want that. I want that as well. So what do you use personally? Like, what is your flow? If you're not working on any business type things or any tutorials or workshops or training, it's just you going out to play around. I know you're not a photographer, but you're going out to sort of play around. Are you planning using the phone? Are you using a tablet?
Yes.
Yeah. What's your flow?
I'm planning using the phone all the time. I don't have an iPad either. Herman has all the devices, but I only have the phone. iPhone 14 now, the screen is large, and I use my sight is still good to use the phone, but I don't know how long it will last in that shape. My daily basis is recording a YouTube video. It takes me 1 day, 2 days and a half. It's like, that's my life. Recording, scripting, recording. Wow.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Of my life. Yeah.
And I would like to do better socials, but now I'm focusing on developing the next product. So working a lot on designing, as a team together in creating the product, and also putting together all the PhotoPills expeditions and experiences. It's super time consuming too. So now I'm working on a possible team, to hire people in the PhotoPills travel side of business to create this big brand of travel photography adventures around the world. But at the moment, I'm the only one working on these expeditions, putting it together and finding the partners, and it's super time consuming. But as a CEO and a business owner, I need to learn to create teams,
Yeah,
leverage,
absolutely.
and because I'm not very good in planning and not very good in dealing with customers, negotiating. So better put a team together for that too. So yeah, that's my daily life, nonstop, doing
But
a
it's
bit of
fun.
everything.
It's a good day in the life, though, right? I mean, you're working on something
Yes.
that's important. I think arguably very important to photographers, and results in art that is beautiful, right? And so, I mean, there are tougher jobs to have, I think, that are less rewarding than that. Like creating something that people need to help them do the thing that
Yes.
they love better, right? That's the end of the game.
Yes, I find my motivation in helping people. That's what I think
Yeah.
when I record the video, because I'm not very good in camera either. So I speak very fast. People don't understand me. But my purpose is to help people get better in their photography and get better with PhotoPills. And get
Yeah.
proficiency in planning, because I think it's super powerful tool to people, a great skill to learn. And that is really what motivates me to spend 2 days and a half every week in creating a YouTube video.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Oh, Raphael, thank you for coming on and doing this. If people want to, whether they're on iOS, Android, or in the future desktop, what's the best place for them to go to learn more about the software, to, if they already have the software, to to kind of dive in and learn the different aspects of how to do different things? What's a good starting point?
I invite you to go to our photopills.com website and check the academy. There you'll find all the videos and all the how-to guides. You also have them in your app, in the PhotoPills app, and also on YouTube. So these are the 3 points I would suggest people. And if you want to see the photos that the community is capturing, we share them in Instagram every day, 1 photo every day. And at the end of the month, we give a cash prize of $100 to 3 photopillars. And at the end of the year, we announce the photopillar of the year, and we give a cash prize of $3,000. So
Nice.
in January, mid-January, we'll announce the winner, the best photo in 2022, and the winner of the $3,000 cash prize. So
Very good. Very good. Cool. And I think I'll have to compete to get that $3,000.
You should. You should.
Frederick needs a new 7200 f2.8 Nikon Z lens, so it's just around $3,000. Oh, cool. Well, thank you, Raphael, for coming on. I appreciate you. Please come on again. I'd love to have a conversation again when you do these workshops. Maybe even from the field if bandwidth allows. I'd love to kind of check in with you, see how things are going, and kind of see the results of planning. Of course, we can see these on the website and all that, but let's do it real time and be in the field. So yeah, just let me know.
You want to join us in the PhotoPills Camp 2023?
I do.
May
100%.
14th to 21st in the Island of Light in Menorca, Spain. We'll be there, so we can record.
I'm coming.
things.
I'm coming. You heard it here first. My first trip to Raphael and I were talking before I pushed the record button about just how, and I'm sure a lot of photographers listening to this probably can sympathize with this, especially photographers that do a lot of speaking, public speaking, etc. My Achilles heel has been work, right? So, hey, I'm going to go speak at NAB or WPPI or whatever, right? And you're there for 3 or 4 days, and then you kind of try to work in some photography when you're not meeting, speaking, talking, or eating. Photography is kind of an afterthought. What smart photographers do is they go on trips that are specific to photography, like these adventures that Raphael's talking about, specific to photography. Go out there and get the shot, enjoy photography, the art of it, and kind of collaborate with other people that have the same passion. I think that's probably the pill that we need to take in order to really enjoy our hobby. So yeah, I'm coming. long story short, yes, I will be in Spain. I wrote it down, May 14th to 21st. So now to check tickets. So I said that before checking ticket prices. It's like, oh, it's only 10 grand to fly to Spain. So
where are you based?
I'm on the West Coast, California, US. So
1,500 maybe.
Oh yeah,
1,200.
yeah. I could scrape that up, especially with this much advance notice. Yeah.
I mean, in the East Coast, going to Spain maybe is from 500 to 800 euros. So it's cheap.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll link to that. So I'll link to that Menorca event. And I know a bunch of people that I think you mentioned that I know are going to actually be there. Like Elia Locardi is going to be there. Albert Dross is going to be there. And you, of course, and a bunch of other amazing, super talented photographers are going to be there, kind of surrounding the orbit of PhotoPills and how it all works and getting great shots and just having a good time. So that sounds like a dream. It sounds like a dream. So yeah. Okay. We'll leave it right there. Thank you, sir, for coming on. I appreciate you. And a huge thank you to you and your team for creating such an important app for photographers. I think it should, there should be a PhotoPills card with a coupon code on it with every camera sold from any manufacturer. It should just be out there, right? I mean, especially if you're doing landscape, right?
Definitely. I don't know why it's not happening.
Yeah. I think you know what, guy. You can make it happen. Yeah, the CEO can make it happen. So.
Yes, I will. One day I will.
One day. All right, man. Thank you so much. Enjoy your holiday season, and definitely be in touch. Look out for an email from me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. And as always, guys, remember that you have the power to imagine, plan, and shoot legendary photos. Bye.
This is TWiP.